All right, we're back, everybody. So the tournament is along the way. I hope you guys liked rewatching that announcement video. I had a lot of fun making it. um, but yeah, so super hype about the intern circuit. As far as this tournament goes, the specific one, we're still getting the tables ready to go. So it should be going on in a minute. But while we have a couple of minutes, just chat, relax, kick back, and talk cards.
Talk cards.
Yeah, I mean, Jellyfish guy, what's your favorite card?
Well, I've said this so many times in countless other streams, commentating and stuff. Definitely fulfilled my duty. Hands down, is probably one of my favorite cards in the set right now. It's the EDA Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
That pretty much just lets you says, "Hey, stop the enhance phase. We're going straight to blocks, one way or the other."
Right.
So, this thing has saved me so many games when my opponent pretty much would be. Like, for example, in the All Might scenario, like, hey, All Might, I'm going to go ahead and give this card, powerful 12 or whatever it is. And then you'd be like, that's cool. Before you use it, I'm just going to go ahead and end this enhanced step. And you don't get to benefit. And it's great. It's a card that definitely has come in clutch more than I can give it credit for.
Yeah, I think it's one of those cards very similar to why I end up liking Shoto, where you're rewarded for being able to shut down your opponent at very key points in their strings, and then it's like, oh no, well now there's a hitch in the cog, and like how do I get the machine working again? So I think it's a phenomenal card on that front for sure.
Yeah, stuff like that staff strike combo, or the other. It's the good combo stomper. Like, oh, you're about to do the amphibious ambush into the meteor shower combo. You're like, just no.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna have to deal with that extra card in your pool. Sure, I lost a foundation, but look, I have another one right here because it's not unique. I'm gonna do it again. Try me.
Right.
It's I think that card is definitely underrated. In my personal opinion.
Right. I mean,
What about
absolutely
you? Which
fair.
one's yours?
So there's like, if I just even look at the cards we talked about, there's so many. I mean, Fulfill My Duty is definitely like one of my favorite ones in there. I think Erase is an incredibly cool card, just because like it's so flexible. It works naturally. It works incredibly well with Eraserhead as well.
Sure.
And again, we're in that situation where I just like turning off what my opponent does. Like, here's the thing: I haven't gotten to that place yet because I haven't had enough practice with the game yet. But like,
Sure.
I am definitely the degenerate player. I really, my level of like, I love interacting with my opponent in as far as I just prevent him from doing anything. It's my favorite thing to do in the game. So when we're talking about exactly, so when we're talking about cards like Fulfilled My Duty, Erase, Shoto, I just like telling my opponent no. I'm a very control oriented, and if there's a combo aligned to that as well, all the better.
Oh yeah, it's that the irrefutable force of nature and the
yeah,
fact that
all of it,
all of those share symbols.
Right.
So you just play know the deck, like
exactly. It's like, so like I recognize myself as like a terrible player on that front in terms of just like I am the player everyone like harps on, and I'm like I understand. Yeah, go ahead.
It definitely puts you in the spot with the bare bones feel. Like, hey, if your cards doesn't do anything, are you still gonna be able to win? So,
right. Take it down to basics and just like, all right, and let's see what you're able to do. If we're pulling away from like my favorites, they're not necessarily my favorite, but like, I love like Frog Lashing. I think that's an incredible attack.
Okay.
I've seen Frog Lashing swing at for like, I try and jam it every day because in my head it's like, oh, I get to ready 2 face down foundations, which means I get to push my like when my head goes into that resource management game, I start thinking about, okay, well I can just keep on extending, and then I've seen like Frog Lashing swings for like 18 damage. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
So I guess now that we've started seeing some of these plus ultra pack cards come out, is there any cards that are picking up momentum? Like, for example, for me, the card that I could say is definitely picking up a lot more momentum is the Hardened Pummel, because now it has the ability to just say no to the action cards, which like plus ultra is an action card. If anything, it's one of those like cards you would side into. Is there any other cards in your opinion that you've been seeing more of now that those are out?
So I don't know in terms of what would respond them, but I would say things like, let's say plus ultra existing means that a lot of speed manipulation decks are probably going to see less play, or at least have to play differently, because now like you could put all your effort into enhancing this one massive attack that just goes back and gets reset to its base number.
Correct.
Yes. So I think the plus ultra cards definitely lend themselves to switching off what people are going to expect in the meta, and those are the kinds of things that we're going to have to see over time as more people get access to the cards, and that'll definitely
Mhm.
shift the meta its own right, because there's a huge bunch of impactful cards in there for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's
Takedown is incredibly good, so like
yeah. The was it the double front beatdown card?
that's it, the double front beat, yeah, double beat
Yeah.
down, and like, yeah, exactly, like those are incredibly good.
That one check though. But
uh
I've seen it on the offense.
yeah,
Seen it in play,
just be
and
the
it is.
better player and never check the one.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, just top deck better, you know.
Yeah, I've been playing against someone that's been running the Bakugo deck with the double front beatdown, and honestly, even when they checked it as a one of like early game, like first turn, they were still able to come back from that because if they had another one, they could just play. I'm like, oh hey, look, two foundations. Oh, by the way, those two that got milled, they're also going to deal you damage and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
have fun. So
Yep.
it's it's a lot of fun. It looks like the
So
table.
it does look like the tables are going in, so I'll just make sure I'm muted, and we're gonna jump around table to table real quick, see if we can't find any interesting matchups for you guys. Asui versus Nomu at table one. I think that's a
You want to go for it?
pretty decent. Yeah, let's go for it. Why not? Let's get some
All right,
Nomu gameplay. Let's get some Asui in here, and let's see this matchup roll out.
ready to roll out.
So let's see. So we're looking at, and I will reset the health here real quick. But in terms of life, we're looking at what, Nomu's at 35, if I remember
Mhm.
correctly.
Yeah, he's 35 and Asui is 20. It's about to say
All
19.
right. So we do have life totals this time. I will try my best to keep them updated, guys. I am a one-man production army here, so let's see if we can get there. But Nomu is incredibly good. Like, Nomu, I think, is one of those characters where if you don't know exactly how to face him, he can give you a really hard time, just because, a lot of, like, he interrupts the way a lot of decks work just by functioning differently and saying, nope, your damage is going to tap out at what, I think it's like 6.
Yep.
So you're actually just gonna, yeah, exactly. So you're going to just have to hit me many, many times before we get to a spot where I'm in danger.
All right, quick math. Let's see here. If at a minimum of 6, I think it's what, 7 attacks or so? Yeah, or 6 attacks.
Hmm.
And that's assuming they don't have, the super regeneration to get the health right back. So,
Yep. Going to switch this up here because it actually do feel like uh, one is going to be way easier to see than the other if we flip them.
there you go. That looks good.
Yeah. So some angles just lend themselves better to being on
Oh
the
no.
up and the bottom.
I'm worried to see because if Nomu lands one hit, that's like half.
Yeah,
half of
that's the
half
thing.
of
Not
myself on.
Not only is he tanky, but he can dish out a lot of really quick damage. So again, going first advantage I think is incredibly important here. But at least for the Asui, chaining attacks isn't the hardest thing in the world because the deck is poised to, getting attacks out of the stage and being able to just attack. I think.
Correct.
But Asui does lend herself to being a very explosive, big damage type of character. So, pivoting out of that to just doing basically chip damage compared to what she's used to is definitely going to be a transformation that the deck is going to have to look to do when trying to fight against Nomu.
On the bright side, I think just about all of Froppy's attacks are all going to be sitting at 6 damage or less
Mm-hmm.
pretty much always.
Right.
So it's going to hit. Nomu's not going to either choose not to block or. I mean, it's kind of a. I really don't think I could pick a side as to who I think will win this matchup. Froppy's going to have to hit a lot, but Froppy can hit a lot. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah,
Um,
like Tony was saying, right? You can flip flop a lot. You can play with the foundations a lot. You can line yourself up to with frog lashing. I was saying you could restand or uncommit your foundations to be able to go and extend even more. So I think both decks lend themselves to be able to actually very explosively go into it.
oh yeah, totally. This should be interesting. Oh no, can't tell who's going first as of yet.
We will find out in a second, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Blues fan said if So he's built correctly. It should be over pretty quick. Yeah, I agree. One way or the other, right? Froppy's either gonna win or lose within a few turns. It's just the build style of it, right?
Yeah, they're really quick, really explosive on both ends. Nomu, big damage.
Mm-hmm.
Froppy, at least having the ability to be able to, string attack, attack, attack. So just, have to see how the players are going to play it out. And if they're turn two hands, I think turn two is going to be very important because it kind of sets up, am I going to be able to put my opponent in an uncomfortable position where he won't be able to extend as much as he wants in fear of the crackback going into turn three. And I think that's really where we're going to have to look at, what the characters are aiming to do.
I don't think Froppies can be able to go all in every single time. They're gonna have to hold blocks.
Right? Yeah, then that's what I'm thinking. You're just gonna have to be in a position of just holding out and protecting yourself.
I like how he's playing at an angle. I give him the credit for working with what he got.
You got to make it work, right?
That's the kind of dedication I love to see.
All right, the 3 check on the 3, and are we gonna go for another one here? Yeah, going to 0, so we need to check another thwa. And going all the way. Oh, well, I mean, you're safe, right? So 4 bill's not bad. I do think you go all in because there's no punish. Your opponent can't attack you on their turn 1. So it is a shame, but I think 4 is still a solid build. It'll give you enough to work with, enough to be able to poke, and then maybe get some defense in. And here we will see checking 2 attacks back to back to back, and then going into the cape. Interesting.
Yeah, they're probably using that to unflip. Oh, it looks like they're going. Let's see, it's on death. So we got Nomu on death, and we got Froppy on life. So that cape lets them pretty much unflip a committed foundation, but this, they can only do on their first enhance of that turn.
Right.
So you pairing that with that super regen, if and when they get that, or even the latent skills and just keep getting more attacks and just keep going at it, that's potential.
All right, so turn 2 will lend itself to being probably one of the more critical turns here because Froppy needs to be able to push the game plan but still offer protection for Nomu's big hits. So the lineup here will be very, very important.
Kicking off with a frog kick. That doesn't feel too good.
Yeah, a 3, though. Frog kick is a 4, so at least there's that. You're only giving up 1.
The good thing about Froppy is she can flip those already committed cards to benefit, from them. So it's not like anything is not really out of bounds at this point.
Pretty much, yeah.
Someone in the chat was saying that they're starting to attack way too soon. They might just be going for a little poke damage. They know that they might not be able to one-turn kill a no-move right off the bat, so they got to just get some oomph to go in for that later, single swoop.
Yep. And it does look like it's a quick take, so just a quick 5. And no, okay, we're going to keep going in. So now with a tongue smack.
Okay.
Oh, checking another attack.
Which is fine. They're going to be able to kick frog kick out and re-ready.
True. Tongue smack just being good to be able to get yourself another card.
Just further extend that play. They're going to keep trying to go for attacks.
Yeah. Or it's a really good poke too, because at least it's a poke that replaces itself. So you can still have like a block in hand afterwards. It kind of sets itself up to be, I mean, here it did, cost the committing of quite a few foundations, but it does, lend yourself to be in a position of at least having as much card advantage as when you started.
So they kicked out frog kick, which is going to let them re-ready one foundation that hasn't already been readied, which this early in the turn, nothing's already been re-readied. And now, since the frog kick dealt damage, was that tongue lashing is going to get that, or is it tongue smack?
Tongue smack, yeah.
So it's already getting the buff from the previous attack, and now it's getting the speed buff from Froppy herself. So,
Mm-hmm.
ugh, that's a lot.
Right, but it only goes so far, right? The
Mhm.
Nomu is really good at saying, okay, well, that was nice, all that happened, and we're just gonna
Well,
stop it there.
well, I'm still above 30 health right now, so I mean,
All right, so taking it down, going down to 24.
definitely before. I don't know if the Froppy keeps pushing or not.
I don't think you do. I think it's a little bit too early for that, but I mean, you know, I think here you build, you get some foundations down to your stage, and you just kind of see, you know, because like there are haymakers coming, you know, given that if Nomu has attacks in hand, so
Oh yeah,
there we go. There we go. We
there
just
it is.
build, we just get ourselves some more resources and try and worry about getting to our next attack turn.
Just getting a little bit of damage on Nomu is always a good thing, especially when they don't have that super regen. Just sitting there, just like, that's fine, I'll take it.
Right? And that's the thing. Like, you just kind of have to, like, get away at it, poke at it, because you're not going to have the big explosive turns you're used to. So just put yourself in a position to feel okay. We're pivoting over to Nomu's turn, where we will have a review and then a full hand once again.
Nomu has a lot of aggressive foundations right now, which is expected of Nomu. He doesn't block.
No.
He doesn't need to.
There's no need for it, right? Like, So blocking something you worry about when you're arguably maybe at the, you know, the tens, and then maybe we think about it. But even then. And yet, starting off the aggression here right off the bat, and we do see the Bakugo core here being used.
I need to have like all these resources pulled up so I can look at the cards better.
Yep, I try and scan really fast to try and bring them up. So long-lasting explosion here as the first attack.
Interesting. If I had to guess, they're probably going to be going into another high attack. Nobu's biggest weakness is most of his attacks are pretty on a slow side. Because that, you know, makes up for the high insane amount of damage. So
Right.
and the small hand size. But yeah, if that attack hits, that's, you know, over half of Sue's health right there, just gone.
Right? And that's the scary part. It's just, okay, here's half your health gone. I hope you want to defend it. All right, we're going to go ahead and cycle 2 cards out of our hands.
Interesting. They get rid of an attack. I wonder why. Maybe they're just going for that one single attack and then rebuild, keep it up.
Maybe, could be. Or just, you know, trying to dig for a more explosive attack, maybe. Try to, like,
Correct.
2-hit this.
Yeah. It's the only downside about commentating like this is you can't hear the players talking, you know what I mean?
Right. I mean, you're welcome to if you'd like. You can unmute yourself. As long or undeafen, I mean, as long as you're muted, it's perfectly fine. But it's in this game, I will say that commentating can be a little bit because, like, all right, well, which enhances are they using? What are they, right? Like, we know here that Bakugo's enhance, you know, is he going with the high attack or is he going with the mid attack? These are kind of things that we just kind of have to figure out as we go along. But we will have a block here.
Okay.
And we will check a 5. Yeah. And check a 5 on that.
Did I call? I must have called the Froppy deck wrong. It looks like it's on air, actually. Because I see the Bakugo card in the discard pile right now.
Right.
And of course we have, you know, Denki's Foundation right there as well. So yeah, Froppy's totally playing on air right now. That's interesting.
Interesting. All right, well, we have another long-lasting explosion. This explosion is most definitely long-lasting.
Just gonna keep on keeping on. So yeah, they went ahead, used Cape to unflip latent skills, so they can use it again next turn. Get those 2 attacks right on back.
Oh, that's so good. Just getting that cycle like over and over and over again.
I'm still not sold on Cheshi Cape as of yet. I feel like one of the words commit in that card's effect should, you know, be different. But that's just my opinion on the matter.
Right. I mean, the commit does make it harder to lend itself to looping, that's for sure.
Yeah, the commit on itself and the commit requirement on its, quote, target choice
Means
of
that
what
you're
they choose
turning
to
on
live.
something that arguably probably won't be doing something that same turn, right? So.
Mhm. Now use it on stuff like that's usable while committed. Nomu has a lot of that stuff, so it works just fine.
Hmm.
Oh no, Froppy's almost tapped out.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very tough position here. So like we did see that Nomu pitched an attack, so arguably, there's good sense here to say that there's probably a couple more coming here.
So they did go with another mid attack, so we got the +3 damage, and then I got the +5 damage from Nomu. So it's getting a 14 damage right now.
Yeah, so going down to 6.
Ooh, they took it. Oh no. Is Nomu gonna get they're gonna remove it? So I'm gonna do it again.
Oi. And all right, here we go with all right, interesting. Okay, all of Shigaraki's attacks look the same. All
Yeah.
right, which
It's the one with the blue hair.
yeah.
It's a decaying grip.
All right, there you go.
Oh yeah, that's the one that says, hey, you can only block this with a block modifier of 3 or greater. He's going in for the kill right now.
Yeah. Is that the only one I didn't have pulled up from yesterday? Yeah, I'm gonna have to find it again. All right. Woo.
Ooh, that is
There we go.
that might just be game right there.
I think it will be. Yeah, I think we're kind of in a position here where it's and that's what you're saying. You need to be careful because these attacks will be doing a ton. And yep, game 1 going to Nomu.
Now I'm curious to see if they side anything.
We'll see. I mean, Nomu does have the sideboard chilling right there next to his character, from what we can see. But no, it does seem like they're just going to be going right into it.
Hey, if it worked the first time, why not do it again, right?
Hey, right? Yeah, and that's the thing. Nomu swings so incredibly hard, that you, and it's one of those tough positions where, because of the fact that he's so incredibly good defensively, also, massive life total, only being able to take basically pot shots of 6 damage at a time. You're in a position where your deck wants to deal with him very quickly before he can start hitting you, but inherently he prevents that.
Exactly.
So while your initial state is just throw a lot of damage at him, you kind of have to pivot away from where your initial instincts about how you tackle a deck like this goes.
Yeah, right now the best character that just completely obliterates Nomu it's Shigaraki, because he says I can hit you at most for 6, but then you're gonna take another 5. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. There's that poke damage and
then on top of that, you get the foundation destruction tied in to an already small hand size Nomu, so it can really fast.
Because Nomu does still need, to commit to be able to get that to happen. So if you, prevent him from being able to commit and then block and then all that, you can put him in a very uncomfortable position. Because Nomu doesn't want to be building turn after turn after turn, right? Nomu really just wants to be able to build and then throw big damage at the opponent. So if you can punish those lines of play, you can set yourself up to be in a pretty good position.
I still really like how they built and designed Nomu very thematically. If you look at the matchup of Nomu versus All Might, it's very much that's a grindy match, because Nomu's like, oh yeah, you're huge attacks. No, they're just gonna hit me for 6. You're fine. Do it again. Try again.
All right, so going on, and we're building. So Walkling pretty significant here, I think. Will really help in terms of being able to be more flexible with what you build, because you just know, like, if you hold on to a mid, no matter what comes your way, you're going to be able to block for the full damage. So we're at build 4. Let's see if we're going to get into a build 5 type of situation here.
Why not 6?
Why not 6? Yeah. No, we're still.
They could be having a 6 check here.
All right, there we go.
I mean, still 5 is
5 is good. 5 is super solid.
good.
Incredibly good though. And we'll have to update the life totals, and that's what I was afraid of. I'm gonna forget this all day long.
I'll try to help you remember it. Just remind me to remind you.
Yeah, of course. All right, Sheik Cape. Checking a lot of attacks here. All right, and now back to that very similar build. a cool 3 foundations and 1 chic cape.
They are running capabilities. That's another really good card in Nomu for that speed buff that he desperately needs. Same with agitation,
Yeah, I
if I
think
remember.
I think agitation's incredibly good. I think capabilities is probably my favorite card out of the rival decks. I think they're like I think it's an incredibly explosive card in the right deck.
Nervous habit, not agitation. It sounds. It's basically the same word, right?
Yeah, I mean effectively.
It's like, I know what the card does. I know what the art looks like. I just names are words are hard.
Words do be hard.
All right, let's see what Froppy got. I wonder if they're going to learn from a mistake about attacking right out the bat. I mean, it might not have been a mistake, but
I think it's just, like the unfortunate checks and help. But here, yeah, okay, so we are seeing an adjustment. We're just going for a build. So giving us a lot of resources and then worrying about it later. Yeah, so fully committing to these builds. But how much so, right? Like, I think you could probably go for an additional one if you have it. And then you got 3 blocks in hand. You got the wall cling.
I still think that it looks like they have 3. No, they have 4 in hand right now. I think 4 in hand is good on the defense for Froppy going against Nomu.
Yep. So it does look like
yeah,
we're
they're
just going
calling
to...
it right there.
Yeah. So 3 going down the stage, 7 foundations, ready to go on the defense. And, well, the explosion that was long lasting, well, it's still going. It's here again.
Do it again.
All right, so let's see it. A lot of fantastic foundations on Asui's side. We got Walkling, we got Fame, we got Observant. So a lot of different tools to be able to sculpt the hand, figure out how our defenses are going to go, and hopefully be able to walk away and go into a turn 3.
Them having those Jiro foundations, I believe those are the Jiro foundations, the Destined for Mainstream.
Yep, mainstream
just being
success.
able that chance to draw into more blocks potentially is always good. One thing that I've quickly learned while playing as Froppy is after you play that, ranged or kick attack, even as a block on your next enhanced step, you can totally kick it out by, using her effect. You don't get the speed buff or anything, but you can clear out your pool just a little bit.
Yep, for sure.
That's like really on like a desperate time because normally you want to keep those attacks for your turn.
Yeah, generally speaking, but I mean, you kind of be flexible for what the moment demands, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So we do see 6 damage being taken here, so Asui going down to 14.
Oh man, that's a play right there for Nomu. I like that. I said, yeah, hit this one. Go ahead. Now I get to use capabilities because I'm about to get momentum.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be Froppy is just not in a good situation right now.
No, it is a very tight spot at the moment. And this is what Nomu's so good at doing is putting you in that uncomfortable position.
So he's definitely playing that instant explosive release. Wow, that's a mouthful to say.
It is a word.
So yeah, that first attack hit, so we know for sure that this attack is going to momentum. And it's a high attack. So we got the speed buff already, and yeah, they're forcing the block now, even though they know it's going to leave their card pool anyway.
Yeah, the 3 check, super tough. We've been seeing the Asui player here being very unfortunate when it comes to their checks both on attack and on defense. And into momentum it goes, and we're just going to keep this party going.
And I'll do it again. Oh, I was really hoping for another one.
Well, the attack that's long-lasting, well, it's long-lasting it is.
Just like that, they're committed out. I don't know if I would have...
Committed to it?
Not that. I feel like in this scenario... I feel like in this scenario, I would have actually committed Nomu instead of capabilities for the extra because it gets um, the 5 damage from capabilities naturally, and the speed buff for getting rid of that momentum.
Right.
Unless like I said, unless the Nomu, I mean, Froppy is potentially they could go all in on their next turn, so
Yep.
maybe keeping him up as a just in case.
So we know Asui here is going to check a 4. It's not amazing, but it's better than the 3. So, given the available foundations, going to be able to go for a block of 7, which even then I don't think, we're always swinging for 5 mid with 1 progressive difficulty. So see if we can get there.
Let's see.
Yeah, so we got the 4. Oh, it's a 5. All right. I just don't know how to read apparently.
All right, let's see if Nomu does what Nomu does or did last game and just throw that Shigaraki attack again.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can pay for it. Can you?
With a good check.
Right? Maybe. Okay, no. It just looks like we're gonna pass along there. We're looking at what, 2 cards in Nomu's hand now, going into Asui's turn. So this is definitely an opening, especially since he's all committed out. So this is definitely an opportunity for Asui to be able to start chaining those attacks. We do see a review getting rid of a foundation and a full new suite.
So Nomu can block 1 reduce damage to 1 attack, but like I said, none of Froppy's attacks should be going over that 6 damage threshold, unless of course they're on air, so there's a chance that they could run some hard heavy hitters.
Yep,
we'll see.
I think this could be a good position. I think you're aligned here to string attacks. Given the hand allows for it, I think you can string in some good attacks here. So we will start with a tongue smack.
Another one.
Boy, one day our Asui player will be able to check a non-attack on an attack.
That's kind of how the deck plays. It wants to run a lot of attacks. It wants to have a lot of draw power so it can get into those attacks, so it can maintain that push whenever they go for that push.
Right.
So we're going to go ahead and commit, give it the +2 speed.
Yeah, I think we are... Tongue Smack is definitely better as a second play just because you definitely do want the draw off of it. But this is fine, if you're lining up another Tongue Smack or just something that benefits, like you also just want the range attack to be able to get rid of it from your card pool. So I mean, if Tongue Smack is a low cost one that you're able to just get your engine started.
Correct, yeah.
All right, going down to 28.
Yeah, and I completely agree with the chat that the Froppy deck definitely needs that card draw that can get off of the life symbol.
Yep.
It has some in air, but not nearly as much as it can, because all the card draw and all of it. There's a lot.
All right, yeah. So checking a 5 on a 5, another Tongue Smack. Unfortunately, not having a way to bounce the card out of the card pool at the moment. So unfortunately, not going to get the card draw with the.
They can flip it to ready, and then recommit.
Right.
So.
Right.
But eventually they're gonna flip all their stuff. They're gonna run out of munitions,
which is fine, right? I think if everything's flipped, like you can, like if you can force Nomu into committing himself, then you can line up a big 10 plus damage. Like you just gotta force him in a position where he's gonna not want to take it once, and then Asui can definitely line up a second or third attack that'll be just as explosive in damage.
Correct. Yeah. I feel like you always have to try to push for that more damage just to make them use what they have. Because they're going to use it eventually anyway. Just get it over with early.
Yep, exactly. Yep. I think the players here just trying to converse, talk about options, talking about numbers, and it looks like we're just going to be sending it for 6. So down to 22.
Which maybe if they didn't have more attacks, they're just trying to get some momentum, so they don't want to kick it out just yet.
Could be.
Not too sure. Well, I guess on air, having momentum does open them up to some of the Denki cards, some of the Rocket cards. So
Yep.
momentum is a viable option in this build.
Yeah, so it
And that's
does
what I love
look
seeing. I love seeing it.
same. It does look like we're counting up, see if we're at deadlock. And yeah, we are just going to be building from here on out and checking another, which is fine. You want to have your committed cards in this deck, and then I guess just passing it along, which is fine. I mean, you have plenty of foundations here to be able to protect yourself. You still have wall cling for your half blocks to be able to go all the way, and our Asui player here is just very unfortunate in terms of I don't know if you, yeah, might as well.
Let's see, they're sitting at
4, 5. Yep. So there we
usually
go.
1 for 1. I'm okay with.
I mean, I think you're still in a very much comfortable position here, regardless, right? Like, I think you're not probably blocking a massive string of attacks here. We did see Nomu have to stop after just the first couple in the last turn, so Nomu doesn't draw an incredible amount of cards. He will be able to, cycle a bit depending on what he sees, but for the most part here, what he draws is what he gets. So Asui could be in a position to do okay.
Without latent skills.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. So he is playing. Is that the Exploding Pride?
Yep, this one is Exploding Pride.
That's funny. Just use that momentum you just threw at me right back at you.
Yep, pretty much.
That card is so good because they're gonna block it. You have to block that.
Yeah, pretty much. I think you just kind of have to block everything he sends your way and just stay at a high velocity and hope that, like, because like he can dish the easy like 10 damage ish, but like 14 is at a threshold where, like, with the low number of cards he has, maybe it's a little bit tougher. So if you can stay in those mid-tier double-digit life totals, you're feeling definitely much better than if you get down to the single digits, where it's very easy for Nomu to be able to just clear that entire pool. So
I'm honestly surprised they didn't use capabilities on this attack. This had been the attack to put it on.
All right. So 4 foundations plus character left remain defensively. All right.
Oh, there it is again. If you got 3 block.
Decaying Grip. Incredibly good card.
Oh, it's such a good card. It's such a good finisher. But like, hey, if you don't have this, that's game.
Yeah. I mean, just the like, hey, I hope it just forces you into this position where it's like, even if you do block this, you have to put yourself in a position where you're basically committing everything you've got for it, which is incredibly tough.
Proper player doesn't look too happy right now. Like, I don't have it.
You can like wall cling, and then like what? This is 3, and then with the 3 modifier, you're at 6. So then plus progressive, you're like at a 7. You're at a 7. That's not impossible. It's not the worst,
It's not unrealistic.
And I think if you block this, you might be in an okay position here.
Until they do it again.
Until they do it again. But then you wouldn't be swinging for enough damage to kill you, and then I think you'd be okay, right? Because like arguably you'd probably see this next attack from no move. There's another one here, probably for some committed foundations, and I don't see him being able to go for a 4th attack afterwards. So I think if you can block this one, you just block this one, and odds are in your favor. You're probably in a better position afterwards.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's always, let's see. Okay, so,
all right. So we're at
they're losing the health to gain some speed.
Yep. So now we're looking at a minimum 8 check. to block.
Still doable.
Yeah, we're still
even on the
in
worst case scenario.
Yeah, we are still in the realm of it is possible.
Yep, I was warning about that one. He says, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. Let's reset that damage. That's Dinky's foundation.
Yep. And is that basically saying, yep, all right, so now capabilities is going to fire off and we're going to get it right back. Pretty good.
I didn't even see that foundation hiding under there.
Yeah. That's a lot of damage swinging on this way, and
And the speed's even higher now too.
Yeah, now we're in a tough position because we're looking at 6. And you have to block with a 3, so we're at now we're at a point where this just can't be blocked.
But it's not enough to kill.
It is not enough to kill. This is true, and now Nomu has 2 committed foundations, so he only has 2 additional chances to pass the check. So if this is a 3, nope, and we're just gonna build. And I think this is a fantastic opportunity for Asui to make a comeback here, because even with the checking of these foundations, Nomu has 1 card in hand.
1 card.
And if us, yeah, basically what all these foundations are representing are just bursts of 6. So Nomu, given no blocks, has the opportunity to be able to set 4 attacks back down to 6, and Asui just needs to be able to get past that threshold effectively.
So right now we got Nomu at what, 20 health?
Nomu is coasting at a cool 20, yeah, with a 14, or not even 14. That is, forgot that there was a hit taken there, so 5 on the Asui side.
Wow. Gotcha. Hey, Froppy can come back from this.
Most definitely, yeah.
Easily. 20 damage is not hard for this deck to chill out. So
not at all. That's 4 attacks. Can definitely get there. All right, kicking us off.
Unintended or unintended? Oh, that's not parking. Never mind. Go ahead, buff the speed. Be like, hey, I'm not gonna let you block this. You're gonna at least take some damage.
All right, and I think we're just sending it.
Let's go for the poke. See what happens. Now we're gonna make it a 6.
Yeah, commit, send it back to a 6, and then just take 6. Considering a block, maybe?
Was it getting any damage buff?
Nah, it was getting some sort of damage buff, yeah. From just Asui, I believe, maybe. All right. Going down to 14.
Oh, I see what it is. They use the ability to commit one of their rival foundations.
Right, okay.
That's really strong against Nomu right now.
Yeah, especially in a position where, like, just dwindle down the resources, just string more attacks. I mean, here we got another 20-meter strike. Once again, being able to commit 1 foundation, which is incredibly good.
And it's sitting at that magic 6 damage, so...
Yeah.
It moves down to 14.
Yep, and now Asui gets a comeback stand. And looking to put ourselves in a position to clear. Yep.
Kick it out. I've always been the kind of person that goes ahead and flips another foundation prior to playing the next card just so I can have, Froppy available for helping passing checks if I needed it. Rather have it, not need it. need and not have it.
Yeah, I think generally
Another
that's
one.
definitely the safe route. Jeez, we're just back to back 20-meter tongue strikes here.
I know
All
that's
right.
everyone's favorite card art.
And some solid checks here. Asui here recovering from the early tough checks that they had to go through. But now, once again, commit your foundation. And now the only thing that remains standing is the Nomu itself. And Nomu is coasting at, and I need to be better at this, 8 life.
8 life. And this will most likely bring him down to 2. So I'm going to go ahead and kick this one out again. Give it some more speed. Gotta just keep on.
Yeah, making it real fast here. Now swinging for a swift 6 mid.
That's a lot.
And down to 2.
Right. Can they seal the deal? They're on air. Is that frog kick?
I think that's a frog kick, yeah.
Yeah, they must have another attack ready, standing by.
And that's it. We're going to game 3.
All right.
There it
Well
goes.
done.
So fantastic recovery from Asui here, putting themselves in a position, reorienting the game plan in game 2 to focus on building early, getting those foundations needed to defend, and then have the explosive following turn to be able to close out the game.
Yeah, they definitely adapted really quick to that. They said, "Oh, let's not go all in
Right.
this early. I need to have more foundations. The more foundations I have, the more flips I get, so I can keep going when I need to go."
Exactly, yeah. But you know, first turn player advantage is really important in a matchup like this. Especially since Nomu is the better poke deck in terms of, okay, well, I'll poke you on turn 2, maybe hold up a couple of foundations so that you can't like straight up OTK me, and then go back into my game turn 3. And the fact that like Nomu's pokes can account for almost half of Froppy's life total,
Or more easily,
or more is definitely something that needs to be taken, you know, careful here.
Interesting. I think Nomu also not seeing those latent skills, being able to cycle out the foundations for attacks potentially, also might have played a factor in how, you know, aggressive Nomu could have been. With the 5-card hand size, and it's a real 5-card hand size, as some people say, unlike some of the other Kirishima card have their board as well as their hand. If Nomu doesn't have way to cycle his hand or ways to draw or pick up cards, what they draw is what they draw, right?
Right, exactly.
At 5 hands, it's really easy to draw 5 foundations.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So like you kind of have to take every opportunity you get whenever you have attacks in your hand, because like you're really not guaranteed to be able to find more when you're drawing so few compared to all the other characters.
But that's a good thing about Nomu. They designed him really well, considering the fact that he doesn't have to have cards in hand to, you know, block. He doesn't want cards. He doesn't want to block. He just wants to sit there and just take it at 6 or less.
Yeah, so like you're not costing yourself cards when you're trying to quote unquote defend yourself, because you can effectively half block any attack that goes above 6, right? So okay, so Nomu opting to go second.
Interesting.
Maybe, you know, preferring the additional card.
Maybe trying to encourage that Froppy attack to go ahead, do it again. Do it. I like that.
Right, yeah. Okay, and we're going for the 4th build here. Are we going to get a lucky check? And yeah, it passes. All right, and build 4 and passing it on to our opponent.
People are just like, and he sideboards into Kirishima. Like, oh.
Right, yeah, wrong symbol, unfortunately.
Wrong symbol. I could see Nomu siding into Shigaraki against Su. That
would be super spicy, yeah.
Hasu.
And all right, 3 for 3 on the Chic Cape. Interesting.
Hey, that's good. I like that they ended with that. Oh, dude, going for
Not
another.
yet. I mean,
Hey,
hey, I mean, why not?
hey, go for it. Like we already said, Nomu doesn't need blocks. You don't
Yep.
care.
Um, Interestingly enough, though, is Nomu's ability usable while committed?
He is not.
So, am I wrong in thinking he's actually kind of in a dangerous position here at the moment?
I don't think so. He does have a lot of health. And like we've already seen, most of Froppy's attacks never go over that 6 damage threshold anyway.
True. One day this Robbie player is gonna flip something that's not an attack on their first couple of turns.
You have to do that in this deck build. You have to run
Yeah, you have
an
to run
uncomfortable amount of attacks.
right, just because that's just how the deck flows naturally.
Mhm.
So we do have a 20-meter coming here.
Like I said, it's at that 6 window anyway, so
Pretty much, but at least here you will get the benefit of buffing whenever you can.
mhm.
And it will actually chip in, so that's not too bad. But I think here, I don't think you go beyond this first attack. You get your first attack in. If you can poke for a decent amount of damage here, which you did go on and poke for the 6, getting down to 29. I think you just start building once again and set yourself comfortable. Game 2 worked incredibly well for you. Just do it again.
You've already had to commit 2 foundations for that attack. I think you just stop it right there and just keep going with foundations. Like, all right, we did something.
Yeah, we got in my chip. I made my turn 3 easier, and now let's just see if we can. It worked for you last time, so don't
get greedy.
Don't get greedy. It worked for you last time. Just keep doing what works. And yeah, that does look like they're on the same frame as we are here. So building should clear check no matter what. And this is suspect here. Every single time.
I think he just tapped the wall.
Do you think he tapped the wall cling? I don't know.
I think you tapped the wall thing because you keep that one up to flip.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, you are getting another wall cling anyways. Yeah, you are right.
But again, then they don't want to. You don't want to flip your cards unless it's for the Froppy combos.
All right, well, we're trying one more time. Check on a 5, and no, that's a whiff, and I think we just let that one pass. And yeah, we're gonna build to momentum the one or up not to.
Yeah, up not to. They don't want to take another damage from that pride. Exploding pride. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's smart. They realize that's in that deck. Now you have to plan accordingly.
I mean, that's tech I only learned like a week ago. I didn't even know you could choose to not put momentum under your character.
I think that was during my match actually when I was playing versus Kirishima. You're like, wait, what? That's a thing?
Yeah, I just thought you had to. I didn't know it was a choice.
Oh, no. It's one of those things where if you see your opponent running that capsule evildoers, you're like, nope, I don't want you stealing my momentum. I'm just gonna go ahead and embrace it and just accept it. Ooh. Starting out with a berserker blow. That's a good attack on Nomu.
Yep. Especially since like Nomu is in a position where like oftentimes he could just flat out not care about blowing up his own his own foundations, because you only need so few attacks to be able to close out the game here.
This is his wannabe Kirishima attack.
Yep. A lot of number manipulation here, but now we're swinging in for 11 damage.
Oh yeah, that's again more than half our health.
Yep, and using the enhance now, be able to build because they're Nomu deck, and then if this goes unblocked, it'll destroy a foundation. But I think here we just block. Let's see if it's a solid check, and all right, clearing the check.
Nomu's like, thanks for flooding your pool for me.
Well, it's be damned if you do, be damned if you don't type of situation, right?
Oh, it's a lot of the villainous characters play that. Oh yeah. Speaking of villainous characters.
Yeah, they definitely put you in that uncomfortable position where it's like it feels bad either way.
Would you rather? I think that's been one of my other favorite things about some of the characters is their whole "would you rather." Put your opponent in those uncomfortable positions. Be like, hey, if you block this, things are going to happen. If we don't block this, worse things are going to happen. Which one
Yeah,
would you rather?
it's like, I love having one bad decision to make and the other option's just as bad.
And then meanwhile, you're just sitting there grinning the whole time, like, ah.
All right, so it does look like Asui goes and takes this one. So going down to 12. And now a... Oh, is this another long lasting? No, this is a Pride, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
You're going to go ahead and first enhance with Cape to unflip.
Yeah, so good decision here on the Asui to not go and momentum up that last attack because the Pride was in hand.
It can't kill you, but it can definitely hurt. And it gets rid of the, momentum because you're going to block that Nomu attack after that buff. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. So here you are comfortable. Exploding Pride does start at a pretty low damage point, only being at 3. So here we only see the buff up to 7.
7.
So it's not too bad still. But
it's realistic.
But Nomu still does have a lot of foundations up. So I think, I wouldn't bet on them not having the additional attack.
Mm-hmm. Regardless, they're going to play what's in their hand.
And no, just taking it. All right, going down to 5.
If any attack to take, that's the one to take. Interesting. They blocked the Berserker blow, didn't they?
Yes.
So that one is not going to be leaving the pool.
All right. So is this going to be the one to get there?
If it does, it's game.
Pretty much, yeah. We're at a life total now where, it could get there. Bumping up the speed, so now we're going for a 6 high. Still doable. It is still doable. It'll cost everything, but it's still possible to get there. And even if it's a half block, you can wall cling and make it a full block. So
definitely doable, but it might come down to the actual check.
It definitely will, yeah.
Because right now it's a 6 + 1, so they're checking at least 7. But they had the block.
And now we just need to have a good check, right? Just
gotta have a good check.
No, that's game. That's it. That's all she wrote. Unfortunate. If anything, I think that was the story of this matchup for sure. Asui just unfortunately struggling to check anything outside of an attack in a lot of very clutch important moments here in the game. Oh, solid. I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying they piloted it spot on, both players. So it wasn't like it was a walk in the park for either of them.
No, yeah, I think we saw some phenomenal adjustments on both ends. We saw, Asui do incredibly well in terms of game 2, recognizing what didn't work in game 1 and adjusting the game plan, going into more of a slower builder movement for game 2, and then realizing that turn 3 is a more comfortable place to be able to push. Versus Nomu. Well, Nomu's just gonna do Nomu, and
Nomu smash.
Yeah, Nomu smash, and then we'll coast and we'll see if you're able to kill me type of position, which is a very on brand. So I think super solid. I mean, taking it to a game 3, which is great, and we showcased basically kind of like what it looks like on both ends of the table, and like the kinds of things that Asui gonna has to look to do in those type of matchups to be able to get a win against Nomu. That's just taking basically pot shots at 6 damage at a time.
Yep, just a few small pot shots and then just one big turn.
Yep. We are pretty early in the round though, so I guess we could see if we can find a quick second game before we close out. So I mean, let's go and check out what other tables are rocking at the moment. Is anything interesting? Oh, we do have a mezzo at table 2. Interesting.
Ooh. Want to jump in
Okay.
on table 2? I'll meet you there.
So mezzo versus it's a Racerhead. Okay.
Hmm.
Nope, that's the wrong one. That's the right one. There we go. Life totals, I have no idea, so we're gonna go hide that.
More
It
than one.
looks 14 life to single digit life, and I'm not too sure what the single digit's at.
Both characters start out pretty low, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we have Mezzo Mezzo chills
Oh,
at 29, so he's
not
not too
as
bad.
never mind.
He's just fine. But
I think
Eraserhead
I was,
chills at what, 19?
yeah, oh yeah, 19. I don't know why I thought Mezzo had a lot lower health. Maybe I was thinking of Mina. I don't know. Now I want to play. Now I want to play Mezzo. I was hesitant. I was like, oh, I don't really want to lose 5 health to grab an attack. Then I'm down to like 15 health. But no, now he's at 29. I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Do it twice a game.
It is a pretty clean way to showcase life totals, though, having the rival mat under your regular mat, just to have the life totals over on the top.
Like, I think it stops at 30 though. Nobody's just like, I need more. Just like out of this.
All right,
Good
Psycho.
erase.
All right, whenever you're playing Eraserhead, I hope you like seeing that card, because it's just gonna keep on doing its thing over and over and over again.
Let's see. Throws against Eraserhead. That's always painful to see.
Yeah, because if possible, you kind of just want to block everything that comes your way. Your life total is so fragile.
Get the damage buff, and then Mezzo can just pick it right back up again, or pick up another one.
Whatever he likes, really.
Yeah. He has all these little things everywhere, and they just turn into reverse throws.
All right, so it does look like we're at 6 life to a 11. So we can showcase the life. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Ooh.
Nailed it.
And going down to 2. A very precarious situation here for our Eraserhead. And Shoji has a pretty open reign here, so here we go with another one.
Another one. So it looks like he's playing it on. Oh, jeez. Kind of missed it. It looks like it is on life. So Shoji on life.
All right, and we're passing it along. So moving on over, review, and going into it. So 11, very doable for Eraserhead. Very, very doable here. But Shoji has a pretty healthy hand here. 5 cards. Nope, I don't know how to count. 6. So in a very good position here. All foundations uncommitted here. So a very strong position here at the moment.
Looks like they're going. I want to say it's either Void or Order.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Void Eraser personally. I think the card pool is incredibly good.
Yeah, it's got to be Void. He doesn't have Order. What am I thinking? It's Monday number 3. It's okay, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we've had first and second Monday, but what about third Monday?
Third Monday. 4 Mondays and a Friday.
All right, so here bumping up the speed and damage of our next attack.
Just gonna go ahead and casually discard and pick up an erase, just so I can keep on doing the discard pickup cons to get speed buffs.
pretty good, pretty good.
Let's see.
Okay, and already having the block lined up, and we're just gonna easy check. Oh, and Shoji also. Okay.
Well, I guess he doesn't really do much on defense, so why not, right?
Right. I guess at that point it doesn't really matter all that much. All right, we're trading kicks on kicks on kicks here.
Go ahead and get the next kick +2/+2. Discard, pick it up. So why not more speed? Let's go ahead and bring it up to 4.
Why shouldn't I, right?
Why shouldn't I? After all. More damage. So how much health was Mezzo sitting at? Currently sitting at what?
Mezzo is currently sitting at 11.
11. Razorhead's at 2.
Razorhead's at 2. So I don't want to be that guy to say it, but like I feel like Eraser needs to close out here.
They have to. Mezzo can just form right into that reverse throw again and just be
yeah.
like, he's putting him on the clock, that's for sure.
All right. Well, some unfortunate checks here is forcing Shoji to have to start committing a good portion of his resources. So maybe, you know, they're maybe here with enough cycling, Eraserhead will be able to string in the few attacks left to punch in there.
7-card hand. There's a high chance he has several more attacks. Oh, there's one.
Flying thruster kick into another flying thruster kick.
And coordinate effort makes that check so easy.
Uh-huh. And he does have EX, so can put himself in a position to basically outspeed anything Shoji has to block it now at this point.
All the speed. Said, all right, I gave it the speed boost, so I'm going to go ahead and give it the damage boost. Boost? Buff? Boost.
Yeah.
Combine buff and boost. Oh, man.
Okay. Let's buff up those numbers a little bit more.
It's going to be close.
Yeah, and there we go. So there's the EX. All of it. Wow. Okay.
Okay.
But why? I mean, if you don't have... I mean, I guess if you don't have anything else that uses momentum, why not, I guess?
That's fair. Maybe they got to have something up their sleeve.
I would imagine. Because, like, I feel like you would want to force your opponent to at least have to try to block this, and then, like, if they fail the check, you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to close out the game with the next attack. Whereas for this one, you're swinging in for... I mean, I think he's buffing it for an additional 4 damage, so you're swinging for 8, which I guess is still good. If you have, like... Does Void have access to throws? I think there's a throw.
I don't... yes, and Sero.
Yeah. So all right. So blah. No, there's still no way. Like even if you check a 5 here, you're not blocking. So you're gonna be taking this 8.
This brings you down to 3. So if they have a Sero throw, maybe. Or maybe they're just going to build and just be like, all right, I'll just sit on this.
Did I miss something? Is there a reason that Shoji didn't take that? Yeah. Okay. No. They were just taking a second. Okay.
Oh.
I was about to say. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not super comfortable with the deck, but nevertheless, I feel like there has to be another attack here. Yeah. There.
Okay. Maybe they have a throw. No, they might.
Let's check for a 3, and you're gonna need to basically like commit everything.
They're just going in.
I think you just have to at this point. right.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, not a problem.
Wife's angry.
Yeah. So now we're in a position here where the Eraserhead player is probably just considering what enhances he wants available for this last attack.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not too sure if I don't know if he's gonna be able to push all the way through or not.
I mean, he definitely has the foundation to clear the check. I don't think that's the issue. It's more so, Hardened Jab is only a 3 speed, but the opponent does have 2 progressive difficulty, so no matter what, you're looking at, a 6 check at least to be able to block it. And then if or if Eraserhead has any ways to buff up the speed, which you should be able to with Erase, then
They can at least use that release to help pass that check a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're...
Yeah. Okay. And I think that's that. So, here we go. So Eraserhead taking it over Shoji. I presume this is game 3. I have to assume.
Right? It was a close one, it looked like. Really close one.
I mean, basically, right? I think if it was like if Eraserhead was not in a position to be able to string enough attacks, they'd be in a position of just having to take this, I think, at that point. So I am super happy that we're seeing, some shoji being played. And I think that's very nice, that variation. Nomi, Asui was very awesome. So I'm glad that this first round we were definitely able to pick out a couple of matches that lean themselves to some diversity, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, it's been interesting seeing how these characters are being played different from what I've been seeing, at least commonly. So people must be stepping out of their comfort zone to just test the waters, right?
Yeah, which is great. And I think that's what like these types of tournaments really serve the best for, is giving you the opportunity to be able to do so. They're low stakes. I mean, yeah, there were bigger stakes last week. But nevertheless, this week you participate, and you get your plus ultra pack and you just grind it out and see what kind of gameplay there is. So let's see, as far as chat says, life tracker across the top of the mat. Yeah, I think that's super cool tech. So if you guys have access to your rival deck mats, setting those under the mat for these webcam tournaments might be a really great way to be able to showcase your life totals to your opponent. Unless you're Nomu, then at that point maybe you need a little piece of paper on the side that also says like
just keep going.
Yeah, just get off the mat. In terms of are there any tier 0 decks? I wouldn't say there's any tier 0 decks. I think Kirishima is very strong and seeing a lot of representation over at top tables. I don't know if we're at a point yet if we can talk about it being at tier 0 or at a power level where nothing else can be played. We haven't seen, I personally haven't watched enough Kirishima matchups to see, any other decks do take him off his throne. But, based on the numbers that we're seeing at Top Cuts, I mean, Kirishima isn't winning everything in all things. So there's some conversation to be had there.
It's one of those things where even if, let's say we had to name a character as, tier 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at tier 0 compared to the rest of the characters in play, you're literally comparing tier 0 to tier 2. It's not like it's a big gap between the best and the worst. Everyone's really congested, and that's a good thing. Like, a lot of the characters are well designed. You know what I mean? They're well designed. They feel good. They do what they do best. And it's not. There's no bad characters. Just like I said, some are better, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think almost every character, I mean pretty much every character at this point I think has a very excellent viable, has an excellent chain to their game plan. And we'll just look at the data and see what it looks like, what the top cut distribution is over the next couple of weeks. For a lot of people, this is some of their first tournaments, kind of repping it out. So just have to see what I think provisional showdowns and RLEs are going to be a phenomenal place to look like, okay, so now people have had the time to grind out these weekly tournaments, get their practice in, get experience under their belt, and understand how the game is played and what the matchups look like. And then now how do we take that into some of the more competitive landscapes and how do they do there. So I'm very excited to see what the provisional showdowns are going to show off, as well as the RLEs when we're talking about what do the top breakdowns look like from there. All right, so with that said, it does look like matches are tying up here. Let me just check the announcements real quick. I do know that somewhere they say, and that is time, please end player 2, and they announced that about 5 minutes ago. So player 2 will be wrapping up their round. So we got about 5 minutes before we start next round. So we'll go ahead into a quick break, guys. And then after that, we'll be joining into round 2. So stay tuned. Don't go too far.